Saddle up, partners, because today's deep dive is taking us straight into the heart of the Wild West.
Well, at least that's what they want you to think.
We're talking about Calico Ghost Town, a place where the lines between history and tall tales get as blurry as a desert mirage.
And since our listeners are all about uncovering the past and planning their next big adventure,
We figured this one would be right up your alley.
so we're going to sift through the tourist traps and see if Calico is worthy of a spot on your travel bucket list.
Sounds like a plan. But before we get too far, can you give us a little background on this Calico place?
Well, what's really interesting about Calico is that it's a perfect example of that boom and bust cycle you see throughout American history.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
In just 12 short years, this town went from a blip on the map to a silver mining frenzy, pulling in a whopping $20 million.
Whoa, $20 million. We're talking serious cash,
Yeah.
especially back then. What was Calico like in its heyday?
Picture this, over 1,200 people, a jumble of tents and wooden buildings, saloons packed with thirsty miners.
Sounds lively.
Oh, it was! It even had a bustling Chinatown and, shall we say, a district that catered to certain pleasures of the Wild West.
Wow, a real den of activity.
It was the Wild West in all its gritty glory.
Okay, so we've got the boom part down.
Yeah.
But something tells me it didn't last forever, did it?
You're right, all good things.
Must come to an end.
Exactly. Silver was king, but its reign was short-lived. Think about it. This was back when photography was just taking off.
And they needed silver for those old-timey photos.
Exactly. Plus, it was used in coins, jewelry, all sorts of things. But then new technologies popped up. Silver production boomed in other parts of the world.
And the price plummeted.
Just like that. Boom went bust. By 1907, Calico was a ghost town, abandoned to the desert winds.
What a rise and fall. It makes you wonder, if you walked those streets today, what would you find? Is it a true ghost town or something a little more manufactured? So today, Calico's not exactly a forgotten ghost town, right? It's a pretty popular tourist destination, we learned. But how does that work if it's supposed to be a ghost town?
That's a great question, actually. Most people think of ghost towns as, desolate places, lost to time, slowly decaying.
Right, like those other ghost towns I mentioned, Bodie and Shaniko.
Exactly. Those are what we call preserved ghost towns, frozen in time, left as they were when everyone left.
So authentic, but kind of creepy. You'd probably want your hiking boots for those. But Calico, that's different.
Very different. Calico, see, it's been, resurrected.
Resurrected, like brought back from the dead.
In a way, back in the 1950s, Walter Knott, Knott's Berry Farm.
Wait, Knott's Berry Farm. The amusement park.
That's the one. Anyway, he saw potential in Calico, bought the place, and decided to restore it to its former glory.
Hold on. Knott, the guy known for jams and fried chicken, decided to restore a ghost town.
Well, he had a vision, and that actually explains a lot about Calico today. See, he wanted to create a family-friendly attraction, a place where folks could experience a taste of the Wild West.
So less of an actual ghost town, more like a Wild West theme park. That might be what our source meant about it being over-commercialized.
Possibly, but there's another way to look at it.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. Calico's location right off the highway, easy to get to, plus all this family-friendly activities. It's a big draw for travelers.
Right, not everyone is into roughing it in the wilderness. Sometimes you just want a taste of history without all the hassle.
Exactly. It's all about managing expectations. You go to Bodie for the haunting, authentic experience, and you go to Calico for.
A more curated experience.
Mm.
Maybe with some boysenberry pie thrown in. So where do you land on this whole Calico debate? Authentic glimpse into the past, or more like a Wild West show?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the thing is, there's no right answer.
I like those kinds of answers. Keeps things interesting.
Calico, you see, it's kind of a paradox. It's a ghost town brought back to life, a carefully constructed piece of history.
Okay, I'm seeing that.
It might not be for everyone, especially those diehard history buffs who, want the real deal, no compromises.
Right, they want the genuine article.
But for families or travelers who like a little showmanship with their history lesson, Calico has something special to offer.
I hear you. It's like the difference between, say, a perfectly preserved antique and then like a modern art piece inspired by it.
Exactly. And both have their own appeal, right?
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about a trip to Calico, what should our listeners keep in mind?
Go in knowing what to expect. If you're looking for a perfectly preserved time capsule, well, you might be a little disappointed.
Better to be prepared.
But if you embrace Calico for what it is, a blend of history, entertainment, and a little kitsch, You'll have a blast.
Okay, blast is a good selling point.
Yeah.
So what exactly can visitors do in Calico?
All the Wild West classics. You've got your shootouts staged right there on the street.
Oh, I love
You
those.
can even try your hand at panning for gold, or should I say silver.
Gotta love a good tourist trap, right?
Yeah.
What else?
And of course, no Wild West town would be complete without saloons. Plenty of those to wet your whistle and soak up the atmosphere.
And I'm guessing there's a gift shop or two?
Oh, you know there is. And don't forget the photo ops. You can dress up in period costumes, pose for an old-timey picture in front of the jailhouse.
I can already see myself rocking that saloon girl look. But, digging a little deeper, our research turned up something called the Calico Early Man Site. What can you tell us about that?
Now that is where things get really interesting. See, while the Silver Rush put Calico on the map, this early man site suggests the area's history goes back much, M-U-C-H, further,
Like, how much further are we talking?
potentially tens of thousands of years.
Seriously, are we talking like cave people roaming Calico before the saloons and silver mines?
Well, not exactly cave people, but the site has revealed some pretty controversial artifacts. Stone tools that some archaeologists believe were made by humans living there during the last ice age.
Okay, now that is mind-blowing.
It really makes you think. Calico isn't just a snapshot of the Wild West, it's like a window into multiple layers of human history.
That's what I love about these deep dives. Start with a simple topic, end up down a rabbit hole of fascinating details.
Right. It's a great reminder that history is never just one thing. It's always evolving, always got more surprises up its sleeve. Who knows what other secrets Calico might be hiding?
That's the truth. All right, listeners, it's time for you to weigh in. Have you ever visited Calico Ghost Town? What did you think? Did it live up to the hype, or were you hoping for a little more ghost and a little less town? Head over to our social media and share your thoughts. Until next time, happy travels and keep exploring.